Based on the children's horror fiction novellas, this anthology TV series sure knew how to bring on the scares.
Don't you know anything about gnomes? It's what we do.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Goosebumps episodes. For this list, we're taking a look at the most enjoyable and memorable episodes from this Canadian horror fantasy anthology TV series. Some of these childhood classics gave many of us unforgettable nightmares. Besides these top 10 suspenseful stories, many of these episodes are also memorable for their occasional host, Goosebumps author R.L. Stine.
Oh, hello. I'm R.L. Stine. I write the Goosebumps books.
Number 10, The Girl Who Cried Monster.
Keep running, little one. I love fast food.
This episode embodied a basic childhood fear, not having anybody believe what you saw. Based on the 8th book of the series, it sees the young Lucy Dark join a summer reading program at her library.
A monster! Huh? Where? At the library!
Don't you say hi anymore?
Hi, Dad! There's a monster at the library!
One day after hours, she discovers that the program deputy snacks on flies and is actually a monster.
A big, slimy, disgusting one! That eats bugs!
What made this episode great was that it really represented those childhood moments when your parents or other grown-ups wouldn't believe what you told them. Except for the fact that when Lucy's parents realized she was telling the truth, they eat Mr. Mortman, because they are monsters too. Number 9, A Night in Terror Tower, Parts 1 and 2.
When in London, see Terror Tower. A nice place to visit, but you wouldn't want to stay too long.
Whoa! I like to see the tower, where they lock people up and torture them.
What's scarier than being separated from your group? If Scooby-Doo taught us anything, that's the first thing you've got to avoid.
We lost our tour group. Can you show us the way out?
In this episode, siblings Sue and Eddie go on a castle tour in England, get separated in a barred cell in the Terror Tower castle, and are chased by a medieval executioner.
My brother, let us face the executioner's axe with dignity.
What made this story great was that it heightened that childhood terror of being on your own way too soon.
Why do parents let children go off on their own?
Like a good fairy tale, though, these siblings meet a sorcerer and discover their medieval royalty on the run through time to avoid being killed.
You are not Eddie and Sue.
What?
You are Edward and Susanna, the Prince and Princess of York.
Number 8, Welcome to Dead House, Parts 1 and 2.
Welcome to Dead House. I think you're going to like your new house.
Kids are often afraid of moving to a new home, but sister and brother duo Amanda and Josh's fears are beyond justified when they learn that all of the residents of their new neighborhood tragically died in a chemical factory accident.
Great, we're moving to a place that's totally dead.
To make matters worse, all of their dead neighbors are still roaming the neighborhood as zombies.
It's the Walking Dead.
The what?
It was the accident at the chemical plant. All those who were contaminated, they became the living dead.
And now they need the fresh blood of the living.
This episode took that classic childhood fear of moving away from one's friends literally to the dead of nowhere. Moral of the story, there's no place like home.
Seem to understand. I need you. Come back! Come back! Dark Falls needs you. I'm hungry.
Number 7, The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, Parts 1 and 2.
Did you ever think that you would be spending your teenage years in a place like Fever Swamp?
As we discovered with the previous entry, we all know that moving sucks when you're growing up.
You live here? I didn't know any kids lived here.
People usually don't move into Fever Swamp. They move out.
In this episode, Grady moves to a swamp and reluctantly makes a new friend and adopts a pet dog in the same week.
Oh, come on, Dad. Life in the country is not complete without a dog.
But suddenly, neighborhood animals are mysteriously being killed. When Grady tries to figure out whether his pet is a werewolf or not, he quickly and painfully learns that it's actually his new human friend who's the werewolf. If anything, this Goosebumps episode left many of us with trust issues.
Get away! Will!
Get away, Grady!
You're the werewolf!
I don't want to hurt you, but I can't help myself, Grady.
Number 6. One Day at HorrorLand, Parts 1 and 2.
Welcome to HorrorLand. Drive forward if you dare.
Kids hate long road trips, especially when they feel there's no escape.
The HorrorLand horrors welcome you to HorrorLand. What's a horror?
The Morris kids suffered this when their parents took them to an amusement park controlled by monsters.
I thought I heard a scream.
Peggy, it's HorrorLand. What do you expect?
While this part of the storyline was creepy enough as is, the episode shockingly ended with the family driving off a cliff. Right as every viewer was about to be emotionally scarred for life, it's revealed that this is a show within a show, ending with monsters watching and discussing how horrifying humans are. Truly the equivalent of the Twilight Zone of the 90s.
I am sick of these scary human shows. Ugh.
Well, perhaps we should just talk.
Number 5. Say cheese and die.
Say cheese.
Cheddar.
Nobody likes being the source of problems. In this episode, Greg finds an exotic camera hidden in the walls of an abandoned factory and shares his discovered camera with his friends.
Say cheese.
Cheese!
After he takes pictures of them, they all soon suffer misfortunes that were foreshadowed in the photographs. Greg inadvertently causes harm to his loved ones by merely taking photos of them.
It's all my fault. These stupid pictures. Stupid camera.
Oh, and that is a little Ryan Gosling as Greg.
Have you been acting weird?
No weirder than usual.
Number 4. Welcome to Camp Nightmare, Parts 1 and 2.
Hey, Camp Nowhere. We're here.
This episode is one of the darkest of the Goosebumps series. Billy is sent to camp by his explorer parents.
I'm all right, but there's something strange about this camp. Weird things have been happening.
When 2 girls go missing, the camp leader gives campers guns and commands them to hunt down the girls.
Or do you have a problem with that, Billy? Do you have a problem?
Billy tries killing the counselor, is unable to fire his gun, and learns the experience was a government test he needed to pass so he can travel with his parents.
We couldn't stand the thought of being away from you for so long, but government rules say we couldn't take you unless you pass certain tests.
Talk about traumatic. This episode was terrifying because it played on childhood authority fears. Now imagine someone giving you a gun just to see if you'd kill them.
You knew when to follow the rules and when to break them.
So, everybody was in on this. Campers, counselors.
We're all actors, Billy. Working at the lab.
Number 3. Stay Out of the Basement, Parts 1 and 2.
Stay out of the basement!
Most classic horror stories seem to involve a basement at some point. Siblings Casey and Margaret belong to what they thought was a normal family.
You in the basement?
We heard some noises. Like someone was crying.
Did you go into the basement?
However, they learn that their real dad, who is a scientist, is trapped in the basement, and the man they thought was their father is actually a plant-human mutant clone the real dad invented before Clone Dad trapped him.
You're saying the father we've been living with is a plant?
This takes the father complex to all new levels.
He's not your dad. He's not even human. He's a plant. You're the plant. No. He's lying. He's a copy. He's a plant copy.
Like any classic Goosebumps episode, nothing is as it seems.
Like most organisms, it wanted to dominate its environment. It overpowered me. And I think that it wanted to make plant copies of us all.
Oh, man!
Number 2, Night of the Living Dummy 2.
That's the best part.
During the era of murderous dolls like Chucky, what better way to acclimatize kids to this theme than through a ventriloquist dummy?
You really got me a new dummy?
Well, almost new.
In this episode, Amy's favorite dummy, Dennis, falls apart due to overuse. As fate would have it, her pawn shop replacement dummy Slappy is much more than meets the eye, as she accidentally brings Slappy to life and he turns out to be pure evil.
I can hurt you and your family in 100 ways.
No, I won't let you!
While the story ends with Slappy's head cracking open, this is all too deja vu for any kid who had a deceptively terrible pet or sibling.
All right, the dummy made me do it.
I wouldn't laugh. You're such a booger brain. You tried to grow an eggplant by burying a chicken.
Hey, cut it out. Yeah, cut it out.
Before we unveil our number one pick, here are some honorable mentions.
I wonder why they call this stuff monster blood.
I don't know. Maybe to scare people off.
Suddenly, the little kid ran to his father like he was scared of me or something. Then I saw why. The hair, it was back.
Okay, so I'm a ghost. Why are you the only one who can see me? I don't know. Ghost rules?
What's the big deal with vampire breath anyway?
It's everything to them. It gives them their power, their magic, and restores their memory. It keeps them immortal.
Number 1, The Haunted Mask, Parts 1 and 2.
In a few minutes, you're going to see one of my favorite stories come alive.
Ever been told not to make a face because it'll get stuck that way?
Mom, it's me. This face is me.
Tired of school bullies, Carly Beth buys a mask from a mysterious shop to frighten her tormentors.
Please take off that mask, Curly Beth, please!
Okay, don't have a fit.
Caught up in this ability to terrify, her personality changes.
Gotcha. Should have seen your face, it was the best.
Eventually, the mask becomes stuck to her, and she's cursed with this gruesome face.
I want it off! I want it off now! Take it off me! I hate this face! I hate this face! I hate it! I hate it!
This episode was the premiere story of the Goosebumps series, and while Carly Beth was featured in a sequel, this tale is the best. What's scarier than being not liked by anyone? Being scary to everyone, forever.
No, I want my fist back! I want my fist back! I want myself back!
Shh, quiet. You'll awaken them.
Do you agree with our list? What are your favorite Goosebumps episodes?
I'm working on something that is very, very unusual.
For more excellent top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Someone! Anyone! Release!